random sample of 50 marbles, 11 are red. Let's write that ratio down. 11 out of 50 marbles are red. At this rate, how many of 2,000 marbles from the same lot will be red? So let's write this out. 11 over 50 should be equal to an x number, which is the red, over 2,000. So x will be equal to 22,000 divided by 50, which gives me 440. And the correct answer is 440. Three cars drove past a speed limit sign on a highway. Car A was traveling twice as fast as car B. So the speed of car A was equal to twice as fast as car B. Car C was traveling 20 miles per hour faster than car B. So that's car B speed plus 20. If car C was traveling at 60 miles per hour, so C was traveling at 60 miles per hour, how far was car A traveling? All right, if we C was traveling at 60 miles, we will know from here easily that B was traveling at 40 miles per hour based on this statement. And that will give me A equal to 40 times 2, which is 80. And the right answer is D, 80 miles per hour. No two points on the graph have the same y coordinate. Which of the following graphs has this property? That means if you draw a horizontal line across any one of these graphs, it will cross the graph only once. So let's do the horizontal line test. For the first one, we see across here, it will cut it in two places. This is not the answer. In C, it cuts across two places, as you can see. So C is not the answer. Graph B, it cuts across more than two places. This is not the answer. So the obvious answer is D, where this horizontal line will cut across the graph only once. So D is your correct answer. In the xy plane, which of the following equations depicts a line perpendicular to the graph of y is equal to negative 2 over 3 x plus 2? Using the formula y is equal to mx plus c, where m is the slope of your line. The slope of this line is negative 2 over 3. Keep that in mind. So now if a line is perpendicular, two lines are perpendicular to each other, their slopes are negative reciprocals, where the slope of the new line will be equal to the negative reciprocal of slope of the first line. Since the slope is negative 2 over 3, let's put that in there. Negative, and let's do the reciprocal here, which will give me just basic 3 over 2. The slope of the new line M2 will be equal to 3 over 2. And we can see the slope here, 3 over 2, positive 3 over 2 in C. If 3 less than twice the number is 13. What is 5 times the number? So let's just write that down. So 3 less than twice the number is 13. So that's basically twice the number is 2x. 3 less than that, which is minus 3, is equal to 13. What is 5 times the number? What is 5x? 2x will be equal to 16. X will be equal to 16 over 2, which is 8. And 5x will therefore be equal to 5 into 8, which is 40. And the right answer is C, 40. According to the circle graph, how many of the pizza toppings individually represent more than 25% of the total sales? When we see 25%, that should be equal to 1/4 of a circle. So let's look at how many sections represent 1/4 of a circle. We can easily see one pepperoni and one mushrooms. There are only two sections which are more than 25%. So the answer is B, 20. If the absolute value of 10 minus 3y is less than 3, which of the following is a possible value of y? Let's quickly plug in these values. Like, let's take the value of in a, which is 0. If y is equal to 0, the absolute value of 10 minus 0, is it less than 3? No. Then b, let y be equal to 1. And let's see, the absolute value of 10 minus 3 times 1 is 3. Is it less than 3? No, this is 7. Okay, then C, you plug in 2. 10 minus 3 twos are 6. That gives me 4. Is it less than 3? No. And D, let's plug in 3. 10 minus 9. The absolute value of that will be 1. Is it less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3. So the answer is D, 3. If 2x is equal to 4 to the power of negative, sorry, this is a negative half, what is the value of x? Let's write it down. 2x is equal to 4 to the power of negative half. So negative half, power of negative half is actually equal to 1 over 4 to the power of half, which actually equals to 1 over square root of 4, which is 2. So 2x is equal to half. So x will be equal to divide by 2 to 1 over 2 will give me 1 over 4. The value of x is d, 1 over 4. In the preceding figure, tick marks are equally placed on the number line. What is the value of x? Right here, this is the value of x. All right. First, we see there's how many spaces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 spaces, and the difference between 5 and 47 is 42. So 42 divided by 6 will give me the length of each space, which is equal to 7. So basically it's 7. You have to add 7 to get every preceding number. So this will be 5 plus 7, which is 12, and 12 plus 7, which is 19. The value of x will be 19. So C is your correct answer. A and B are positive integers, and 2 to the power of 3a into 2 to the power of 3b is equal to 64. What is the value of a plus b? Let's write 64 in exponent form, which is 2 to the power of 6. So we can say 2 to the power of 3a into 2 to the power of 3b is equal to 2 to the power of 6. According to the law of exponents, we can make that simpler and say 3a plus 3b is equal to 6, taking only the exponents into consideration. All right, and then we have 3a plus 3b is equal to 6. We can divide by 3 here and 3 here. Since we're only trying to find a plus b, we'll find that a plus b is equal to 2. And the answer is C, 2. If x minus 4 the whole squared is equal to 49 and x is less than 10, what is the value of x? This seems so simple. X minus 4 squared is equal to 49. Let's take square root on both sides, which will give me x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus 7. So let's solve. Two values of x will be 4 plus 7, which is 11, or x will be equal to 4 minus 7, which is negative 3, and x is supposed to be less than 10, so negative 3 is your answer. X will be equal to negative 3. 2a squared is equal to 56. What is the value of 8a squared? It is equal to 56. What is 8a squared? Don't bother solving for the value of a. You can easily see the connection between the two, the 2a squared and 8a squared. This is actually equal to 4 times 2a squared. 8a squared will be equal to 4 times 56, which multiplies to 224. So the answer is 224. In a rectangular coordinate system, the line with equation y is equal to 2x plus 4 crosses the x-axis at a point with coordinates f and g. What is the value of f? All right, let's write the equation of the line y is equal to 2x plus 4. Since it crosses the x-axis, that means the value of y at point fg will be equal to 0. So the points are f and g is 0. So the value of x is actually f here and y is 0. Let's plug that into this equation and let's solve it. So 0 will be equal to 2f plus 4. So 2f will be equal to negative 4 and f will be equal to negative 2. The value of f is negative 2b. Which of the following represents all values of x that satisfy this inequality? 7 is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 3. Let's just write 7 is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 3. And let's solve this. 4 is greater than negative 2x. When we divide by negative 2 on both sides, the signs flip and we get negative 2x here. So basically x is greater than or equal to negative 2. All right, let's find this on the number line. The first one, the possible answers are B, because you see negative 2, and D. But since here we have a circle, unfilled circle, that means 2 is not included in your answer. The only answer is B, because 2 is included in your answer, greater than or equal to. Preceding figure shows a graph of y is equal to f of x from x is equal to negative 3 to 4. What value of x in this interval does a function f attain its minimum value? All right. Let's look at this graph. The minimum value is where y is the lowest. I can find it right here. This is your minimum value, but this is the lowest value of y, but they're asking you what is the value of x. So as you can see here, x is 2. Simple reading of graph, the value of x is 2, which is A. Point on the preceding number line best represents the product of x and y. We have x here and y here. Which of these points, A, B, C, or D, represents the product of x and y? So let's estimate what's the value of x here and what's the value of y here. Since this is negative 1 and here's a 0, I can see x comes right in between negative 1 and 0. So let's say x is equal to negative 0.5 and y will be equal to, it is beyond 0.5. It could be 0.75. Let's multiply these two. We get negative 0.375. And where is this on the number line? It's the point C on your number line. Graph of y is equal to f of x is shown above. If f of 3 is equal to k, which of the following is a value of f of k? All right. Now we're going to use this graph to solve this problem. F of 3, that means f of 3 is equal to k. That means when x is equal to 3, y is equal to k. Let's look at the graph at where x is equal to 3. X is equal to 3 here. You notice y was equal to, we find the value of y is actually half. So y is equal to half. So your k was actually equal to half. What is the value of f of half? That means look for where x is equal to half on the graph and find the value of y. So where's half on the graph? X is half right here, half on your graph, and the value of y will be negative 1. So the answer is of f of k will be negative 1. Negative 1 is less than x, which is less than 0. Which of the following statements must be true? Let's give x a value which satisfies this statement. let's say x is equal to negative 0.5. And let's solve each one. What is 1? Negative 0.5, is it greater than negative 0.5 over 2, which is negative 0.25? No. So 1 is false. Let's try the second statement. Negative 0.5 squared is greater than negative 0.5 is equal to 0.25. Is that greater than negative 0.5? Yes, it's true. And let's try number 3. Negative 0.5 cubed is greater than negative 0.5 squared, which is negative 0.125. Is that greater than 0.25? No, this is not true. So only 2 is true. So B is correct. Gardener is building a fence to enclose her garden and divide it in half as shown in the preceding figure. The fourth side of the garden is adjacent to a house, so it does not require fencing. So this part does not require fencing. The total area of the garden is 2,400 square feet. Let's write that down, which is x times y is equal to 2,400. In terms of x, how many feet of fencing does a gardener require? Let's see. If this is x, this will be x, and this will be x, right? So how much fencing would they require? They would need 3x plus y. That much fencing they will need. Xy is equal to 2,400. Let's do y will be equal to 2,400 over x. So how much fencing will they require? Let's replace y here, the value of y here, which will be 3x plus 2,400 over x. And this can be found in C. C is your correct answer. An equilateral triangle has vertices at negative 1 and 1 and 5, 1. Which of the following could be the coordinates of the third vertex? This can be solved by sketching. The third vertex can either be C or D, and it's an equilateral triangle. So, okay, let's just find the midpoint, 2 and 1. So the x value has to be 2. Now we want to know whether this is the vertex or this is the vertex. All right, let's concentrate on this triangle. If the side is 3, the side is 6, we can find the other side, which will be 6 squared is equal to 3 squared plus, let's call this x. X squared. X squared will be equal to 36 minus 9 is 27. X will be equal to 3 root 3. This length is 3 root 3 and 3 root 3. So the coordinates of C will be, there be 1 plus 3 root 3 or 1 minus 3 root 3, which would be D. And the only statement that satisfies this is 2 and 1 minus 3 root 3, and the answer is B. X squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y plus 12 is equal to 0. In the xy plane, the graph of the preceding equation is a circle. Which of the following is the radius of the circle? X squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y plus 12 is equal to 0. X squared minus 4x plus y squared minus 6y will be equal to negative 12. Now let's complete the square right here. So this will give me x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 will complete the square. So we have to do negative 12 plus 9 and the plus 4 to balance both sides. So this gives me x minus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. Negative 12 plus 13 gives me 1. So the radius of the circle was actually 1. The answer is D, 1. The office supply store offers pens in 2 different boxes. One containing 6 pens and the other containing 12 pens. If Maria orders 28 boxes for a total of 204 pens, how many boxes of 12 pens are in the order? Let's say there were X boxes which had 12 pens each. The total number of boxes she ordered was 28. So there'll be 28 minus X boxes which had 6 pens each. So 12 times X plus 6 times 28 minus x should give me 204. I hope that makes sense. This is the crux of solving this problem. 12x plus 168 minus 6x is equal to 204. X is 6x, which is equal to 36, and x will be equal to 6. So there are 6 boxes with 12 pens. The answer is Cell count in a certain lab culture increased from 19,000 in week 3 to 41,000 in week 6. Assuming the cell count increased at a constant rate, which of the following linear functions of f best models the cell count in thousands of cells t weeks after week 3? Okay, we can see from week 3 to week 6. That means t is actually equal to 3 and we got a cell count of 41,000. When t is equal to 3, f of t should be equal to 41. So let's plug in the value of 3 into A, B, C, and D and see if we get an answer close to 41. Let's do A first. 9 over 22 minus 19. No, it's nowhere near 41. B. 3. No, it's not near 41. C. Plus 19. No way it'll come to 41. And I think D is the answer, which cancels to 22 plus 19, which is 41. So D is your correct answer. Seating table defines a linear function. What is the value of n? Okay, let's look at this function. What's happening here? We have 15, 11, 7, n. Obviously, it's each value you're subtracting 4 to get the next value. So 7 minus 4 is 3, so n will be equal to 3. This was so easy, n is equal to 3. When a number m is multiplied by 5, the result is the same as when 6 is subtracted from m. What is the value of 8m? When a number m is multiplied by 5, that gives me 5m. It is equal to when 6 is subtracted from m. So basically, m minus 6. Let's find the value of m. 4m is equal to negative 6, so m will be equal to negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3 over 2. What is the value of 8m? 8m will be equal to 8 times negative 3 over 2, which cancels and gives me negative 12. Answer is negative 12a. Coordinates of point P in the preceding figure are AB. All right, let's write here, where the absolute value of B is greater than A. All right, B is greater than A. All right. Which of the following could be the slope of PQ? All right, the slope of this line is moving upwards, so obviously it doesn't have a negative slope, so this is not the answer, and this is not the answer, and it goes through the point 0, 0. So the slope of a line should be equal to b minus 0 over a minus 0, which is b over a. And since b is greater than a, it cannot be 1 over 2. It has to be 3 over 2. Choice D is correct. Graph y is equal to g of x is shown above. So this is the graph g of x. Which of the following could be the graph of y is equal to g of x minus 1? When a number is added to the value of x or subtracted the value of x, it shows as a horizontal shift in the graph. So you should know this: when you add, you move to the left, and when you subtract, we move to the right. All right, so here there's a subtraction. That means the graph has shifted one space to the right. So right now we are at 2. This point would now be at 3, and everything else remains the same. And examining graphs A, B, C, and D, we notice this happens in graph A, where there's a shift to the right in one space. In the xy plane, the lines P and Q are perpendicular to each other. If line P contains the points negative 2, 2, and 2, 1, and line Q contains the points 2, negative 2, and 4, and K and 0, what is the value of K? The first thing we have to do is find the slope of line P, which is 2 minus 1 over negative 2 minus 2, it's 1 over negative 4, which is negative 1 over 4. So the slope of line Q will be the negative reciprocal of the slope of line P because they are perpendicular to each other. Slope of line Q is 4, and the 2 points, let's put the 2 points in. 4 minus 0 over negative 2 minus K, and this works out to negative 4a minus 8 is equal to 4, negative 4. K will be equal to 12 divided by negative 4. K will be equal to negative 3, and the answer is A, negative 3. In the preceding figure, each shape is a square. BC has a length of 4. CD has a length of 7. So this will be 4, this will be 3, this will be 7. And the points A, K, and G all lie on the same line. Find the length of DE. Look at this line AKG. The slope of this line should be equal to 3 over 4. And if this side is 7, let's call this side x, then we'll come to know what is the value of GD. So the slope over here should also be x over 7. The two slopes should be equal since it's the same line. So when we solve this, we get 21 over 4 is equal to x. X will be equal to 5.25. The length here of GD will be equal to 7 plus 5.25, which is 12.25. And since it's a square, DE will also be 12.25. The answer is D. Values of x satisfy both functions. F of x equals 3 and f of x equals x plus 2. So this is very easy to solve since f of x is 3 here and f of x is x squared plus 2. We can set the functions to be equal to each other. So 3 will be equal to x squared plus 2 and solve for x. So let's finish this. This makes x squared equal to 1. X will be equal to square root on both sides, plus or minus. X will be equal to plus or minus 1. So the answer would be B, negative or positive 1. X squared minus y squared is equal to 39 and x minus y is equal to 3. What is the value of y? X plus y and x minus y, difference of two squares, is equal to 39. See here that x minus y is actually equal to 3. So let's replace this with 3. So we have x plus y into 3 is equal to 39. Let's solve and we get x plus y is equal to 13. So y will be equal to 13 minus x. We have x plus y, which is 13, plus x minus y, which is 3, is equal to 13 plus 3. So plus y and minus y cancel and we get 2x is equal to 16. And we find that x is equal to 8. So y is equal to 13 minus x. So y will be equal to 13 minus 8. So y is equal to 5 and that's your answer. What's the value of x in the preceding figure? Looking at this figure here, we notice this angle here 105 and this angle here x and 35 degree are directly opposite each other, so they have to be equal. So x plus 35 degrees should be equal to 105, which calculates to x will be equal to 105 minus 35. So x will be 70 degrees. 6 times a number is the same as a number added to 6, and what is the number? This is very simple. So because 6 times a number, let's call the number x, is the same as is equal to the number added to 6. 6 plus x. So find x. This is very simple. So 6x minus x is equal to 6. We get 5x equal to 6. X is equal to 6 over 5, which gives me 1.2. X is equal to 1.2. Y is equal to half in the preceding equation. What is the value of B? Let's plug in the value of A, which is half, and solve for B. Half minus half B is equal to negative 8. Let's subtract half. On both sides, we get negative half. B is equal to negative 8.5. So let's convert this into a mixed number. That's negative B over 2 is equal to negative 17 over 2. 2, 6, 2, 8. 8 are 16 plus 1 is 17. The negatives cancel and The 2's cancel and we get B is equal to 17. In the right angle triangle shown above, if angle theta, this angle here is 30 degrees, what is sine theta? So that's 30, that's 90, so this will definitely be 60. Let's put that info into this diagram. According to a rule of 30, 60, 90-degree angle, every line opposite these angle measures will be in the ratio of 1 is to root 3 is to 2. This is a common rule which is used in trigonometry. If this is 30, this would be 1 and this would be 2 and this would be root 3. And we know if you want to find sine of an angle, sine theta is equal to the opposite over hypotenuse. Here the opposite to 30 is 1 and our hypotenuse is 2. So sine theta is equal to half or 0.5. Circle lies in the xy coordinate plane. If the circle is centered at negative 3 and 17, that's the center of the circle, and touches the y-axis at 1 point only, what is the diameter of the circle? We can solve this by sketching what we see here. So this is our circle with center at 3 and negative 17. It touches the circle at 1 point only, and that point would be this point, which is 0 and 17. What is the diameter of the circle? From this figure, we can see that the radius here is 3. So obviously, the diameter will be equal to 3 times 2, which is 6. Question 37, we are supposed to look at this data. 1,000 invested at I% simple annual interest yields 200 over a 2-year period. Let's just take this statement and find out what I% is, okay? We have $1,000 invested at I% interest and yields 200 over a 2-year period. So since it's simple interest, we can assume that we know it'll be 100 for 1 year. The interest is 100 for 1 year. We would find out that I is 100 divided by 1000 will give me 0.1, which is our 10% interest, which is I. How much interest would $1,000 investment yield if I% interest were compounded annually over the 2-year period? Now, instead of simple annual interest, we're going in for a compound annual interest for 2 years. Okay, so we can do this using the compound interest formula, or we can do it manually. Let's just do it manually. The amount is $1,000. What would the amount be on the first year? The interest is 10%, so we get 1,000 plus 10% of 1000, which will be equal to 10% of 1000 is equal to $100. So it's 1100 at the end of 1 year. Now this will becomes your new principal for the second year, which is 1100 plus 10% of 1100, which is 110. That gives me 1210 is the final amount I get after 2 years if it is compounded annually. We want to know only how much interest I would receive. So the interest amount I would receive will be equal to how much I invested, $1,000 minus 1210. I get $210 is my interest if I go to compound it annually instead of simple annual interest. From our previous calculation, we found out that I, the interest, is 10%. So let's read the question. What dollar amount invested at I% simple annual interest? Now, it's 10% interest and we're looking at simple interest. Will yield $1,000 interest over 5-year period. So over 5 years, I want a total of $1,000 over 5 years. So in 1 year, I want to get 1000 divided by 5, which will be $200 every year I want to make. So what should be my principal amount? So the principal amount is what? So 10%, we're taking a 10% interest of my principal amount should be equal to this 200 which I get every year. So that way we'll be able to find P. P would be equal to 200 over 0.1, which is 10%, which is equal to 2,000. I would have to invest $2,000 to get $200 every month to make $1,000 in 5 years.